Hey everyone, happy Thursday. This is the final video of the day. It's a look ahead to tonight's Thursday night football game against the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys, which will be taking place in Dallas. The big story going in is how much Dak Prescott has been struggling of late and how, not very well, but how decent Kirk Cousins has been playing. They blew a lead against the Saints, which was the game Chris Thompson got injured, but he threw 3 touchdowns and no picks. Then the following game, he threw for 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception in a 20-10 win versus the Giants. So he has 5 total touchdowns since Thompson has been out. And in a longer time, since Zeke was out, Dak had 0 TDs versus the Falcons, 0 TDs and 3 picks versus the Eagles, and 2 picks and 0 touchdowns versus the Chargers. So the amount of picks Dak's thrown since Zeke has been out equates to the amount of touchdowns Kirk Cousins has thrown just in the past 2 games. So the way that the Cowboys are going to have to win this game is Dak's going to have to start coming back and showing he can play without Zeke, which this is the team to be able to do it, because if we look at the Redskins' defensive numbers, they'll allow 25.1 points per game, which is 25th in the league. They allow 346 total yards, which is 20th. 234.2 passing yards, which is 19th. So Prescott should be able to pass against this team a little bit, and if not, that could send a huge red flag. 111.8 rushing yards, which is 15th, so Alfred Morris and Rod Smith might be able to have a better game against this team too, but they are decent at stopping the run. So if the Cowboys want to be successful on offense, Dak's going to have to show up and pass a lot better, and this is the team to show he can do so against, to get his momentum going a little bit again. But then on the flip side, the Cowboys defense, without Sean Lee and a couple of the guys that are back there, but the Redskins had a few injuries this year too and have kept almost even in numbers with Dallas's defense. They allowed 24.5 points, which is 24, so that's better than the Redskins. But they allowed 348.3 total yards, which is 22nd. That's 2 spots worse than the Redskins. 235.7 passing yards, which is 21st, which is barely worse than the Redskins. That's not even much of a difference at all. And 112.5 rushing yards, which is 17. So the defenses going in, surprisingly, are actually pretty even with each other. But the big number would be Kirk Cousins has been passing fairly decent the past couple weeks and most of the season. Their stats, his stats this year are 249 for 376 with 3,038 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions with a 101 rating. So those are decent stats for a team that's not that great and has had some injuries this year also and could definitely be far better around him. And like I said, he's thrown 5 touchdowns since Thompson's been out, including the game he's got injured. But he only had 4 carries in that game, so he didn't have a chance to do really anything. He has been playing well in the past few weeks, even though they blew the game against the Saints. His numbers were still good. And Dak hasn't been playing well. So that's the huge story here. If the Cowboys want to win, their defense is either going to have to step up against Cousins, who does throw some picks. He only has 6 this year, which isn't too bad, but their defense is going to have to step up, but Dak's going to have to step up against a defense in the Redskins that does allow a few passing yards and start going back to, maybe they should run more shorter plays and open that way, but Dak has not looked good of late, and he's shown doubts that maybe he needs a guy like Zeke to be the quarterback he's been up until when Zeke got suspended, and maybe Zeke overrated Dak Prescott. But this will be the game to show that he at least can do stuff without Zeke and win a big game against the division, because both of these teams coming in have a balanced record. They're both 5-6, and Dallas is considered second because of the divisional wins and stuff like that, and doesn't consider third. But this will be a big win for Dak to show he can step up and win against a divisional team. His statistics, which have decreased in recent weeks, are 2,318 yards, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, with an 87.6 rating. Both of these quarterbacks also have 4 fumbles on the year. So if the defenses can get to them, sack them, and try to get a fumble, that could be a factor in this game also. But Prescott, in order to show football fans, not just Cowboys fans, even though I by far don't like the Cowboys, it's still nice to have a competitive division that has had, with Eli Manning's benching, it's a little bit different now, but has had 4 good quarterbacks most of the time. So it would be nice if he can step up and show he doesn't necessarily need Zeke to be his helping hand. And comparing the two offenses, 23.5 average points for the Redskins is 13th, 356.1 yards, which is 11th, 251.7 passing yards, which is also 11th, 104.4 rushing yards, which is 18th. So they have a decent offense. The Cowboys still rank in the top 15 also in their overall offense at 22.5 points per game. Granted, they haven't got near that in past weeks. 333.5 yards, which is 16th. 198.7 passing yards, which is 27th. 134.8 rushing yards, which is 4th. So they're going to have to be able to block for Morris and Rod Smith, get some of those rushing yards in, and get some of those short passes that they hope can send guys off to the races, and then try to take some big plays to beat this Redskins team. It's definitely going to be a harder game for Dallas than it's going to be for the Redskins because of how Dak's been playing of late and how Kirk's been playing of late better than Dak. I think it should be a good game. It's a divisional game. Those games always end up being good games. And most Thursday night football games tend to be close. So it should be a close game. This is a game that Dak Prescott has a chance to prove himself without Zeke in the lineup, that he can step up and get a divisional win. Even though their defense isn't great, they still have some good guys in their secondary that he's going to have to step up and play good against. And I think it'll be a very tight game within 1 or 2 touchdowns. It's at Dallas. Dallas is the favorite, but I think Washington could easily win also. Have a great day. Peace out, everyone. Sorry for the dog barking.